Spring has finally arrived. I'm feeling so good. It makes me think of a song. It makes me think of Don't Stop Believing by Journey. If you would like to learn how to play the rhythm section to Don't Stop Believing by Journey on an electric guitar, then this video is for you, so stick around, because I know you're going to enjoy it so much. Let's go ahead and jump into the intro. Trying to find a cable real quick. I need to plug up my amplifier. Where is it? Ah, there it is. There we go. Power cable, kind of important. If I ever do a video on how to turn on an amplifier, this is gonna be the first step. Just a little inside tip. You plug it in. Oh, and then it turns on. Nice. Let's see, mobile tango. Alright. Oh man, I guess that cable will do. Perfectly coiled cable right here. This is very important. If you do not know how to coil a cable, I'll link up the video right here. Link the video right here to how to coil a cable. Vitally important. And we're in. Alright guys, so like I said, in this video we're going to be learning how to play the rhythm section to Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Here's a little hint as to what it sounds like in case you don't know for some reason. I know you guys aren't like that though. You're not like most millennials, right? Yeah, you're different. Hey guys, my name's Evan DiDio, you're watching the Evan DiDio Show, and again, we're learning the rhythm section to Don't Stop Believing by Journey on the electric guitar. Meow, 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 meow. This is one of my favorites of all time. I've been playing in a band, this song in particular, for a little over 2 years now, I think, and it just gets funner and funner and funner every single time I play it. I know you guys are really gonna enjoy playing this as well. Let's go ahead and dive into the verse of the song, which is the main part, and also the intro as well. Let's go ahead and get into it. And yes, I'm wearing a Pac-Man shirt. It's comfortable. Alright, so for the first part of the song, when the guitar comes in, the first thing they start to play is this. Now what this is right here is this is a regular E major chord. You've got your second finger on the second fret of the A string, third finger on the second fret of the D string, then your first finger is on the first fret of the G string. All together it sounds like this. Now it's more of a power chord, you don't really strum all the strings, just the first 4 or the first 3. Now what they do for this chord, now also in the intro you can slide down at the beginning, but they hit the low E string twice and then they hit the rest of the chord, so it sounds like this. The next part is our third finger goes to the 4th fret of the low E string, then we do an open A string, and then our first finger goes to the 2nd fret of the A string. And that's pretty much the first phrase, so let's go ahead and go over what that sounds like. like that. Next, we go from the 4th fret of the A string with our 3rd finger, slide up to the 6th fret of the A string, so it sounds like this. Sounds like that. And then we go back down with our 1st finger to the 4th fret of the A string. And then our 3rd finger goes to the 6th fret of the A string. And then our 4th finger goes to the 5th fret of the A string. And then we do an open A again. We come down here to the 1st fret of the D string with our 1st finger. And then we hit the 2nd fret of the D string with our 2nd finger. Alright, so that is the first part of the verse of the song. Let's go ahead and play it together. I'll play it a little slower, and remember, I might go a little bit fast in this video, so you can always pause, rewind, or even slow the video down. If you go into video settings up here, click on the 3 dots if you're on a phone, or find it on your computer, and slow it down, just so that way you can really get all this information in, and that'll really help with technique-wise as well, because I'm going over a lot of different stuff kind of fast. So that technique is very helpful, and I almost just dropped my pick. So let's go ahead and play it before I drop my pick again. Alright, 1, 2, ready. So the next part after we play that first part of the verse is like this. Basically do the same thing as the beginning. E, the low E string twice, and then the E chord. Then we go from the 4th fret of the low E string on our 3rd finger, open A, 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. Then we do our 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the A string, and then slide up again to the 6th fret of the A string. But instead of going back down, we put our 1st finger on the 4th fret of the low E string. And then this is kind of a stretch here. We've got our 3rd finger and our 4th finger are kind of doing an E minor shape just over the 7th frets. So our 3rd finger goes on the 7th fret of the A string, and then our pinky finger goes on the 7th fret of the D string. It's kind of an ugly chord, but it sounds really neat. So we're gonna hit that, and then we move our 1st finger up to the 5th fret. And then we hit these 2 notes again. 1st finger on the 1st fret of the D string, then our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. Let's go ahead and play it together, and I'll play it a little bit slower, just so that way we can make sure to get this down. 1, 2, ready, go. Oh, and I don't want to forget to tell you about this. This is really cool. So whenever you're going through the first time again, right after you hit those 2 notes, whenever you hit the open A string, you can go ahead and hit an A chord, kind of like this, and then hit those 2 notes again. So the A chord is played like this. The 1st finger goes on the 2nd fret of the D string, 2nd finger goes on the 2nd fret of the G string, and then your 3rd finger goes on the 2nd fret of the B string. And that's the A chord. Now for this, you can really only play the D string and the G string. Just kind of as a power chord, but you might find that you might get a little bit of the other strings in there, so you want to go ahead and complete the chord. Kind of like that. You don't have to add that if you don't want to, that's just something I do and it's a whole lot of fun. Okay, so now for the chorus of the song. This is a little different, but if you listen to the recording, this is what the guitarist is doing. So after it goes... it comes up there. So what we're doing here is we're barring with our third finger across the 16th frets of the D string, the G string, and the B string. And we're kind of hitting that once. Then we're hitting the low A string twice. And then we're barring with our first finger. We're barring with our first finger over the 14th fret of the D string, the G string, and the B string. So this part sounds like this. So you're going to hit this one once, and then hit the A string twice, and then we're going to go down to our first finger bar in there again on the 14th frets. Then you hit the low A string 4 times instead of just twice, so it goes like this. 3, 4, 1. And then after you do that, you come down here to kind of where you would do an E 5th position bar chord. That would sound like that, except we're kind of doing an F major 7 kind of shape, and it's really interesting. And what we're doing is instead of hitting the low A string, we're hitting the low E string. And we've got our first finger on the 7th fret of the B string. We've got our second finger on the 8th fret of the G string. And then we've also got our third finger on the 9th fret of the D string. Then you're going to hit the low E string twice, so you play that. And then we're barring with our third finger, kind of like what we were doing up here, except we're doing it down here on the 9th fret of these strings, the D string, the G string, and the B string. So let's go ahead and play this part together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through it one time, and then you feel free to play it along with me. Go. And then right after that happens, what we do is we take our first finger, goes on the 7th fret of the low E string. We're kind of doing a power chord here, so after our first finger's on the 7th fret of the E string, the low E string, then our third finger goes on the 9th fret of the A string, and then our fourth finger, our pinky finger, goes on the 9th fret of the D string. And then we slide that whole position up 2 frets. So we're going to go to right here where our first finger's on the 9th fret now, and then our third and pinky fingers are on the 11th fret. So like this. And then we do it again. But then we bring it down 4 frets from where we're at now, 1, 2, 3, 4, down where our first finger is on the 5th fret of the low E string. And then our third and pinky fingers are on the 7th fret of the A and D strings. So it's kind of like a turnaround, like this. And then we go back into... that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and play all of those parts together one time through. Are you ready? Let's go ahead and start the metronome, our best friend, right? 1, 2, ready, go. And then it goes into the solo, which I'll talk about in another video. Let me go ahead. I'm going to turn off the metronome. And then it goes into the solo, which I'm going to talk about in another video. Yes. So, speaking of another video, if you liked this one, then smash that subscribe button and then also hit the like button just so I can know if you guys are liking these videos. Now, real quick, this is vitally important. If you learned this rhythm section from Don't Stop Believin' by Journey and you want to know how to practice it, I've already made a video on the best practicing techniques for practicing the guitar. So I'll link that up right here, and at the end of the video I'll link it up in the cards as well. So if you liked this video and you'd like to see more of them, then hit the subscribe button because I'm putting out videos every single Tuesday that you won't want to miss, with product reviews, music theory lessons, and gear tutorials, as well as song tutorials as well. So you want to make sure you subscribe to get all that scrumptious content. Yeah, I just said scrumptious. I don't know if I should ever say that again, but you know what I mean. So you're gonna enjoy all the rest of the content, I'm sure. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and if you have a song that you would like to learn, then please put it in the comments section, especially if it's a classic rock song. I like classic rock songs, and I'd love to get your input on that, or if you have any other video ideas as well, that would be awesome. So right here in this box right here, we've got the best practicing techniques for beginners. Then also right here, we have a YouTube suggested content, YouTube suggested video, which is awesome as well. And then here's the subscribe button, and I'll talk with you guys later. Peace.